Hello, welcome back for another workout. Today's workout is focused on lower back pain. So we'll be working through some core, specifically deep core, glutes, and stretching and strengthening our hip flexors, as well as moving our spine and working on some spinal mobility and flexibility as well. You'll need, as well as your reformer, your long box. And if you have either a ring or, oh, the neighbor's cat has come to say hello, either a ring or a stretchy band, just to add a little bit of resistance for those hip flexors, grab that as well. If you don't have the ring and or the band, don't worry, just leave that part out. So to begin, I've got all of my springs on my carriage. So all of your springs on, just to anchor that carriage nice and still so it's not going to go anywhere. And you're going to grab your ring or your band. Take a lie down on your carriage, making sure your headrest is in the flat position. So your head is going to be on your headrest, your shoulders against your shoulder blocks. And then you're going to take your ring or your band and place it over both of your legs. So you're going to place your legs through that ring until your thighs, so just above your knees, pressing outwards on that ring. You can start with your arms down flat on the carriage, your heels on the foot bar about hip distance apart. I'm just going to reach my fingers for the ceiling just so you can better see the shape of my spine. Take a nice deep shoulder roll to begin, so plugging those shoulder blades heavy on the carriage beneath you and making sure your tailbone is down nice and heavy on your carriage as well. You've got neutral spine, so a little pocket of air underneath that lower back. Take a nice deep inhale breath, and as you exhale, can you start to press your lower back heavy into your carriage beneath you? Start to tuck your tailbone and then roll your tailbone, your lower back, middle back, lastly your upper back, up off that carriage, coming into your glute bridge. A little squeeze of your glutes at the top. Think about pulling your glutes down towards your heels. Inhale breath to slowly ripple back through that movement. So upper back, middle back, lower back, tailbone comes down last. Rediscover that little gap underneath your lower spine. Go again. Lower back presses in, lift the tailbone, then ripple up through the movement on your exhale. And then inhale, think about each vertebra returning down to that carriage one by one as you inhale. Exhale to peel up. And inhale to return. As you come up, can you think about your hip bones staying at the same height? So move as slow as you need to prevent coming up wobbly, or to prevent those hip bones from wobbling up to the top. Focusing on control. And then at the top of your next one, exhale all the way up to the top. Pause at the top as you take a nice deep inhale breath. Exhale. Can you press outwards on that ring? Stretch that ring or that band as far as it will go. Inhale to release that outward press. Again, exhale to press out. Inhale, release that press. Exhale, legs press to the outsides of the room. Inhale to release. Come all the way back down. Exhale to the top. Inhale at the top of your movement. Exhale, press outwards on that ring. Inhale, release. 2 more times. Exhale, press. Inhale, release. This time, outwards press on that ring. Can you hold that press as you inhale to return your hips all the way down to your carriage? Release that press at the bottom of your movement. Exhale to roll up. Inhale at the top. Exhale to press. Inhale, release. Exhale to press. Inhale, release. Exhale to press and hold. and inhale all the way down. Release the press on the ring at the bottom. So keep moving like that, finding your hip bridge, those 3 presses, holding that last press to return all the way down. You've got about 3 more to go here. Really focus on that articulation through your spine each time you ripple up into that glute bridge. And trying to think about your abs staying on here. So can you think about pulling up from your hips instead of pushing up with your glutes? On your last one, I want you to hold at the top of this next glute bridge and just keep working on those outwards presses. Exhale, press to the sides of the room, and inhale, release. Exhale, press. Inhale, release. Keep going like that. Can you think about zipping up your core from the top of your pelvis to the bottom of your rib cage? So keep those abs on, particularly if you are starting to feel a little bit of an ache in that lower back. 3 more. And then last one, press outwards on that ring, hold. Can you pulse your hips down a couple inches, up a couple inches, down a couple inches, up a couple inches, keeping that outwards press on that ring for the whole movement. Think about pulling your bum down towards your heels on that foot bar, so keep those hamstrings on. Nice job. So keeping the hamstrings on, the glutes on, the core on is all going to take the work or take the stress out of the lower back for this movement. So making sure we're keeping all of those muscles active. Good job. You're here for 4. Can you press that ring just a little wider for 3? Nice job for 2. Last 1. Come all the way down, keeping that press on that ring. And then as your tailbone comes down to that carriage, release the press on that ring. Nice job. Take your ring off your feet. You can maybe pop it just down underneath your carriage or out of the way. Stay lying down. We'll take a little twist out, a little stretch for our lower back. So take your heels nice and wide to each corner of that foot bar. You can hold onto your shoulder blocks behind you. Windshield wiper your knees, maybe over to the left side of the room first. If it feels nice, you can turn your neck to look to the opposite right side of the room, just until you feel a nice twist through that lower spine. On your next inhale, come through center and go for the other side. So knees both windshield wiper over towards the right side of the room now, maybe looking over towards the left. Just noticing in your body which side feels a little tighter. Trying to keep both shoulders nice and heavy, anchored to your carriage underneath you. Lovely. Come back through center. Sit on up. We'll come into a little bit of core work now, or a little bit more core. So we're going to take most of our springs off. Just leave on one light spring. One light spring remains on your carriage. So for me, that's one yellow spring. You're also going to pop your foot bar down so it's out of the way. And then I want you to come and take a kneeling position on your carriage facing the foot bar, facing the solid platform. So your knees are as far forward towards the edge of that carriage as you can. Hands are down on that solid platform with your fingers waterfalling off the front edge of that platform. Your shoulders are over your wrists, and then you're going to slide your knees away, or slide that carriage away until your knees are under your hips. So just take a moment to make sure shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. So you should have a little gap between your carriage and the stopper, and our challenge for this exercise is to keep that carriage completely still. I want you to spread your shoulder blades wide across your back, tuck that tailbone, pull your belly button up towards your spine. Left fingers are going to reach out towards the top of the room, hold them there. Keeping your core engaged, can you see if you can hover your right leg, so left hand, right leg, and extend that right leg behind you while keeping that carriage nice and still. Left hand, right knee, come down. We're going to go for the same side. So left hand again, reaches forward. Right leg reaches behind. Find a little moment of stillness once you find that bird dog. Left hand down, right leg down. So focus on control here. Left arm again, right leg. So moving as slow as you need to keep that carriage as still as you can. If, of course, it's a little bit too much to keep that carriage out, if you're wobbling so much that you don't feel safe, you can bring that carriage into the stopper and work through your bird dogs with that carriage docked, no problem. If you're feeling good and you'd like to make this a little bit more challenging, what you're going to do next is the next time that you're in that bird dog, we're going to take the rest out of that movement. So instead of tapping your left hand and your right knee down, as you exhale, can you bring your left elbow to try touch your right knee underneath your body, maybe dome through that upper back. And then inhale, reach straight back out to that bird dog. Left hand, right leg extend. Exhale to dome through the upper back. Find your crunch. Ooh, trying to keep that carriage as still as you can. Good, and inhale to extend. Can you give me 6 more? Slow is the name of the game here, so try not to rush. Lift out of that right shoulder, so try not to collapse into that right shoulder as you're supporting yourself. Is your belly button still pulling up towards your spine? 3 more. Nice job. Nearly there. You've got 1 more crunch and then we're going to hold that last bird dog. So elbow to knee, reach your left hand and right leg behind you, hold. Can you pull out of that right shoulder, tuck that tailbone, pull your belly button up towards your spine. Carriage is still, you're here for 5. Reach those fingers, lift that leg, 4, 3, 2, and everything comes down on 1. Nice job. You can bring that carriage in towards your stopper. Shuffle those knees slightly back. Maybe give those wrists a little roll out here. Nice shoulder roll. Little stretch out for that neck. Nice job. You can stay on the same spring. So 1 light spring. And can you come off the left side of your machine? So stepping off to the left and then spinning around to face the back of your carriage. So you should have your machine on your left facing the back. You're going to reach for your short loop with your left hand and then take just a slight little step back so you've got tension on that strap. You can take a slight little step away from your carriage and then a slight little rotation towards the back. Square off those shoulders, so make sure that strap isn't pulling your left shoulder forward. And then bring all of your weight into your left foot, to your right toes are just there for balance. On your inhale breath, can you take a nice big step back with your right foot and then drop your right knee down to find your 90-90 lunge, about a 90-degree bend in each of your knees. Exhale, bring that right foot back to meet the left one as you rise tall. Again, inhale, nice big step back, knee lowers to the floor, and exhale to rise. Can you add on a row? Inhale, find your 90-90 lunge and hold. Exhale to row that strap back. Maybe take a slight little rotation, elbow towards the back of the room. Inhale, release the row, come back through center. Exhale to rise. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, row and rotate. Inhale, release the row. Exhale to rise. Your last layer. You inhale to lunge. Exhale, row and rotate. Inhale, release. Exhale to rise. Can you bring your right knee up to hip height, working that hip flexor? You're going to step straight back to find your lunge. Exhale to row. Inhale, release. Exhale to rise tall, knee to hip height. Inhale to lunge. Exhale, row. Inhale, release. And exhale to rise. If anything doesn't feel right, maybe that rotation, maybe that little balance work at the top, just leave it out. And your other option here is to take your your large loop to make this a little bit friendlier. You can also shuffle yourself towards the back of the machine. That's going to take a little bit of tension out of that strap. Or you can shuffle yourself back towards the front of the machine to make it a little harder. Give me 3 more. Two more, working those hip flexors, those quads, all muscles that are going to support your lower back. Ooh, a little bit wobbly. And then last one, we're going to hold down in that lunge. So drop that knee down, square off those shoulders, just that row and rotate. Good, 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Release that row. Rise tall. And we're done with that one, thank goodness. You can pop that large loop back over your post. Take a little shake out with those legs, and we'll come do the other side of our bird dogs. So you're going to come to kneel on your carriage once again. We'll do right hand, left leg this time. So knees are to the front edge of that moving carriage. Hands are waterfalling off that solid platform. Slide that carriage away until your knees come under your hips. Spread your shoulder blades wide, tuck that tailbone, and then start with your right hand. Right fingers reach in front of you. Can you start to hover your left leg, send it long towards the back of the room, and then exhale, tap everything down. Take a couple of reps like this first. Notice how it feels on this side. Is it your stronger side? Do you feel a little bit stronger, a little bit more stable on this side? Or is it your slightly wobblier side? And then once we get the hang of that movement, if you'd like to, we can add that crunch in the middle instead of that tap down. So inhale to reach out long, right fingers left leg. Exhale, elbow to knee, round through that upper back. Inhale to reach out long, and exhale to crunch. Good. Try not to collapse into that left shoulder. Woo. And keeping that carriage as still as you can. Of course, feel free to bring that carriage into the stopper if you need to. Good, give me 5 more. Moving with that breath, lengthen out that inhale. Lengthen out that exhale as you crunch. Nice, and the next time you find your bird dog,
We're going to hold this last one. So reach those fingers long, reach that leg long, hold. Lift out of that left shoulder. Can you reach those fingers a little more? Reach that leg a little higher. Trying to keep those shoulders and hips nice and even to the floor. You're here for 6. Focus on your breathing. Can you get your belly button a little closer up towards your spine? For 4. For 3. For 2. Woo. And you can come all the way down on 1. Bring that carriage into your stopper. Nice work. Let's go for a quick little cat-cow here. So work through some back extension. So stay in that 4-point kneel. Inhale. Drop your belly button down towards your carriage. Look up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, dome through your upper back. Nod your chin to your chest, gazing down towards those knees. Inhale, drop the belly. Gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, chin to chest, gazing towards those knees. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. 2 more, moving with your breath. One more. Find neutral spine. And then you're going to come off to the right side of your machine now to do the other side of your legs. So spin yourself around to face the back of your carriage. Your machine should now be on your right hand side. You're going to reach down for your short loop with your right hand. Slight little step back to get some tension on your strap. Little step out towards the left, away from your machine, and then a slight little turn, angling yourself towards the back of that machine. Bring all your weight into your right foot this time. Left toes just there for balance. On your inhale breath, take a big step back with your left foot. Drop that back knee down towards the floor. Find 90-90. Exhale to rise. Left toes come to meet your right foot. Inhale to lunge. Exhale to rise. Add your row and rotation. Inhale to lunge. Hold at the bottom. Exhale, row. Maybe that slight little rotation. Release. Rise tall. Inhale, lunge. Exhale to row. Gaze follows that right elbow. Inhale, release. And exhale to rise. Let's add on that little lift of our knee on our next one. Lunge, row. Release, rise, and hover that left knee. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, row. Inhale, release. Exhale, rise. Good, you've got 4 more. Two more. You're going to hold that last one down just for that row and rotation. Find your lunge. Exhale to row. Inhale, release. Exhale, row. Inhale to release. For 3, can you get that back knee any lower? Ow. Last 2. Last 1. Release the row, rise tall, and find your standing position. Nice job. Large loop can go back over that post. Step those legs out. Nice job. You've got 1 more exercise, then we'll take a nice stretch. So I want you to pop your box on your carriage in a long box position. So the short edge is going to come up against your shoulder blocks, and your box is nice and long on your carriage, centered on your machine. And you're going to change your springs
to a medium spring. So take the light spring off. We're on one medium spring. For me, that's a green. So one medium spring. And then you're going to come to lie on your tummy, on your box, with your head towards the back of the machine and your knees towards the foot bar. Make sure your chest is off the front edge of your box and your knees are off the back edge of that box. I want you to think about pressing your hip bones, or your pelvis, heavy into your box. A little squeeze of your glutes to keep those legs lifted. And your neck is nice and long in the same line as your spine. Reach for your ropes. You're going to grab them about where that knot is. Take them off the straps, and those arms are going to start nice and long. We're going to go for our pullovers. So nice deep inhale breath to prepare. As you exhale, long arms are going to sweep those straps back towards the foot bar, and inhale to return. Exhale. Can you feel your shoulder blades sliding down your back? And inhale to return. A little lift of your chest on this next one if you can. So exhale to sweep back, lift the chest, and inhale to slow return everything down. Exhale, straps back, lift the chest. Make sure you're not overarching through the neck. Inhale to return. Nice job. Keep squeezing those glutes. Keep pushing your pelvis heavy into your box. You can walk your hands up the ropes to make this harder, or down the ropes towards the loops to make this slightly easier. Nice. One layer here. Let's add on a tricep extension. So the next time you sweep those arms back, hold here. Elbows lock into your waist. Inhale, bend the forearms forwards. Exhale, tricep extension, pull those straps back. And then inhale all the way down to that start position. Exhale, sweep those arms back, hold. Inhale, bend the forearms. Exhale, pull those straps back. And inhale all the way down. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, bend. Exhale, tricep extension. And inhale, return. Let's do 4 here. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. And inhale, sweep all the way to that start position. 3 more. Two more. Lift the chest, squeeze the glutes. And then your last one, let's hold it, just work those tricep extensions. So exhale, sweep it back. Inhale, bend the forearms. Exhale, extend those arms long. And again, inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Can you get your hip bones pressing heavier into that box? Abs are still on, chest is lifted, squeeze the glutes. Nice job. Give me 1 more. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend, hold. Can you flutter kick the legs, squeeze the glutes, lift the chest even more. Sweep your hands back a little further towards that foot bar. Last 5. Lift the chest a little more. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. And all the way down on 1. Amazing. That's the hard work of your class all done. Smashed it. You can pop those large loops over your posts and come to a careful seat on your box. Oh my goodness. So come to sit on your box, maybe on the side of your carriage, and give yourself a little side over stretch here. So maybe your right hand comes to the edge of that box. You can sweep that left arm up and over, take a side over stretch. What you want to think about here is that left glute or that left hip staying heavy on your box. So you're not just tipping over to the side, you're lifting up and out of your hips and then over. So the stretch is just through your torso, just through your spine.
You can either look down towards your fingers, or maybe see how it feels to look up towards your left hand. And let's do a counter stretch to the other side. So left hand to the box, right hand up and over. Keep that right glute, that right hip nice and heavy. Look down towards your left hand. Maybe up towards that right hand, whatever feels good. Nice job. A little twist maybe, if that feels good as well. And we'll just take a quick little hip flexor stretch as well. Tight hip flexors can make that lower back a little bit achy, so pop that box away. You can stay on your one medium spring. Left foot down next to your carriage on the floor, and your right knee down on your carriage. Hands can come either to your foot bar or to your solid platform. Slide that carriage away until you feel a nice stretch through your hip flexor, and maybe that right quad as well. You can take the stretch static or maybe go for a little rock forward and back, whatever feels good for you. But think about lengthening out your inhales and your exhales. So bring that breath back down to normal pace. Slow that heart rate down. Come all the way in. Walk your knees, both knees to the carriage. So knees are nice and wide, feet together, hands on that solid platform. Sink your bum down to your heels and slide that carriage away to find your child's pose position. If it feels nice, last little rotation here. Take your right hand, reach it underneath your body, reaching for the left side of the room. So think about relaxing that right shoulder down onto your carriage. Inhale through center and then exhale other side. Left hand reaches underneath your body, reaches for the right side of the room. Inhale through center, and then our last stretch is that hip flexor on the other side. So you're on the right side of your carriage, right foot down on the floor, left knee on your carriage, hands to that solid platform, and slide that carriage away. Maybe a little rock forward and back. Maybe take it static, whatever feels good. You can bring your forearms down to that solid platform if that feels good for you. And that's our last stretch of our class. Amazing job. Well done for getting through, for making the time. You can come slowly out of that stretch when you're ready. And that's us for today. Let me know if you enjoyed. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see in the next workout. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Have a lovely rest of your day.